I was working as a CFO for various different companies, and I remember one day when my ex-boss came in and he said that, I can't believe my money is blocked. You as the head of accounts, the CFO, you need to figure out what's going on, and we need to make sure that the bank is doing what we are telling them to do, otherwise we are taking our business somewhere else. I started to realize that things are looking like it's changing somehow. Now the banks have the upper hand and the tables have turned, so it's no longer the banks are begging for our business, but we need to play by the bank's rules and we need to satisfy them. To the point when I remember they actually started to calculate the loan interest on a certain transfer. So there was a principal amount, there was a loan interest on that, and the bank said that according to this loan agreement, the amount is wrong, so you cannot transfer. So they got involved up to this detail. And me being a curious person, back at the day, there was no Google in this way as we have now. Obviously, we didn't have like ChatGPT and whatnot. So it took me a good couple of months until I was searching for answers that what happened, what is compliance? 10 years ago, compliance was a new word. There was no compliance officer. There was a legal team who is telling you more or less what to do, but there was no compliance department to advise you on those kind of details. And then the bank asked about our passport copies and utility bills, which was, again, completely new thing. So me being curious, I was Googling everything, trying to find the answers. And then I realized that no one seems to have those answers, right? No one really understands why the banks are asking for certain things, why certain transactions are allowed, why certain transactions are frozen, and it also changes bank by bank. So it's not something which is a blanket regulation which hits everyone in the same time. It is very subjective. And then I realized that there could be something interesting to be done here, because if I ask the relevant questions and I get the answers, I can explain this to my clients, and then I can tell them that, yes, I understand banks are evil and banks are giving you a headache, but we are living in a world when you need banks to be able to move the funds, to be able to pay your employees, to get, obviously, the funds from your clients. So you need to work with those banks and how to reduce those problems and issues which are arising from compliance. And once you have one client, you have them all, because those are the same questions, the same issues, the same banks, the same explanations. So originally, I wrote the book as a training material for my own company. And it was very raw. It was just a description of the different explanations of the banking and the shortenings. But when I started to send out articles and paragraphs of the book for my clients, explaining that I know your problem, I've done that, I've been there. Read this chapter, which is about a very similar case, and then come back to me if you have any more questions. Then I realized that there is a need for a book which is more summarizing the current problems and gives answers of how banks think and overall how to move money internationally. And that's when I wrote the book, and it came out in January. Thankfully, it has a very warm welcome, not just in the industry, but by everyone who ever had any kind of problem with the bank. So it's not only about the high-risk industries, which are the forex businesses or brokerages or gambling companies or any other high-risk categories, but also traditional international e-commerce businesses who are moving money online internationally, face obstacles with banks. And they tell me that the summarization somewhat is giving them a lot of aha moments. And then once you understand that, so this is the reason, it's not really difficult, but you need to focus your attention onto those things. So you don't know what you don't know. With this book, you at least understand that what are the questions which need to be asked to be able to move money internationally. So this is in a nutshell the journey. That's what made me write the book. And it actually goes through from the banking history, explaining why compliance was even born, what is compliance, what are the elements of the compliance, as I said, the utility bill, the passport copy, and overall, what is the reason that the bank is giving you headache. And what I'm explaining in the book is that the banks are not just simply being evil just for the sake of making your life hard. There is also a regulator for financial institutions which are running their operations. And if you understand what their regulation needs, then you understand what the banks are asking from you too, and then you can plan better. You can actually find safer providers, safer channels. You can allocate your traffic in a much more informed way if you're doing some planning, as well as or optimize your costs as well around these payment institutions.
If you liked that video and you want to watch the full episode, it's available here. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. It helps the channel.